You're now listening to Girl Chat Sports After Dark with the ladies of Football BFF. Hey, and welcome back to Girl Chat Sports After Dark. I'm Melissa, your host, and of course with me are the lovely ladies of Football BFF. We've got Fran, Elisa, Sally, and Laura all joining us live from the Bay Area to give us some dish on some rookies. And for all of our listeners out there, if you're not familiar with what a rookie is someone that is new to the NFL. So this is their first season playing professional football for the National Football League, where they came from college, junior college, Canadian Football League, whatever the case may be. And so each of our ladies tonight have picked out a rookie that has caught their eye, whether on or off the field. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. Who's going to start us off?
I'm going to start. This is Sally.
Hey, Sally.
And hi. I would love to talk about cutie Deshaun Watson.
Ooh, he is cute.
He's quarterback for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he recently tore his ACL, so he's out for almost a year. But part of what I want to talk about is just his the way he grew up, events that happened in his life, and basically why he is where he is today and the good person that he really is. Deshaun grew up in Georgia. He was raised by his mom, and they were living in government housing for many years, I think until he was about 11. And here's one of my favorite things about him is he saw a flyer. It was for Habitat for Humanity, and he brought it home, and he gave it to his mom, and she looked into it, and then she started volunteering with them. And then when he was 11, they were handed the keys to their new house, which was given to them through Habitat for Humanity. And I know.
You know what's crazy about that story, too, though, and I can't remember the person's name, but it was another NFL player at the time who was putting up the money for all these houses, and there was a picture of him with Deshaun when he was 11 years old getting those keys, and it kind of comes full circle.
Yeah, exactly. That player's name was Warwick Dunn.
Yeah, Warwick Dunn.
I don't call him myself, but that was his name. And now Deshaun is inspired by that, and he's partnering with Habitat for Humanity, and he's trying to help give back, which is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, also, so a couple years after they moved into their new home, his mom, I think he was about 15, and his mom was diagnosed with tongue cancer.
Oh.
So she was having to commute like 50 miles away for treatments and stuff. And so Deshaun, being 15, he and his older brother, who I believe is like 5 years older than he is, they had to take care of the house. They have twin younger brother and sister, so they had to make sure they had food. Deshaun worked 4 jobs after playing, football in high school and basketball in high school, and making sure the kids got to school on time and stuff like that. And just made sure they were clothed and all that. Sometimes an aunt and uncle, I think, would help, but for the most part, they worked their asses off just to get their siblings out the door and take care of the household while mom was being treated. Eventually, she did. I think she had like part of her tongue removed, but she's now today in remission, which is lovely.
Love it.
And then another thing, when he played at Clemson, everybody knows, they were national champions last year.
They were. Thank you for beating Alabama.
Totally. They needed to be beaten. It had been too long. I'm going to back up just a hair. I think in high school and then maybe early on at Clemson, he would write 815 on both of his wrists, and that was the address, 815, I think Harrison Square or something like that, to the government housing he grew up in.
Oh.
And so he always wanted to remember his roots, where he came from, and then, kind of demonstrate also like where he is now. But so he used to write that on his wrist, and then when he was a sophomore at Clemson, he had that actually tattooed on his wrist, so you can see those today. Yeah.
I love that. He was also, I think we talked about it before when we first started the After Dark, is that they were on the Hard Knocks on HBO's Hard Knocks Texans. So you really got a whole backside look at his life. He actually went to, I think, his grandma's house during the first episode and was like killing cockroaches and stuff on the side of the steps. So, like, he hasn't lost anything in him being who he is and being humble. I mean, it's not like he put everybody up into big mansions when he made it or nothing. And he's a really humble guy. So it was just nice to see him rolling around in his regular truck and heading down through some of the streets of where his family still resides. So
yeah, that's cute. I agree with that.
Yeah, he's a good
He
guy.
also brought his entire family to the draft. Like his siblings came, his cousins came, his aunt and uncle came. He was like, I've been looking forward to like walking across the stage, being into the jersey, everything, and everyone's gonna be there watching it. And I think that's pretty cute.
I
But he's gonna start if he's when he
was starting when he got injured. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a huge bummer.
He didn't start initially for the very start of the season. It was Tom Savage, I think. But they gave it to him pretty much right after that. Cause,
yeah, 1 or 2 games in, or pretty early on in the season.
Right, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
good.
One other thing, and I didn't even know, I just read this recently, I didn't even know this was possible, but I found it interesting, is at Clemson, it was number 4, he's also number 4 now, but at Clemson, he was number 4, and he got permission to wear number 4, which was a retired jersey, and he got permission from the quarterback at Clemson, who had been Steve Fuller, and that number had been retired. But I thought, wow,
that's pretty cool.
Have it retired, and that player says, yeah, go ahead and use my number. I thought that was pretty neat.
That is pretty neat, especially in college. You don't hear about that in college too much. Like I know Marshawn came on and got 24 and took over Charles Woodson's number that got retired. So, but Charles Woodson was like, well, if it's going to be anybody, why can't it should be Marshawn Lynch? You know?
Yeah,
but
that's kind of cool of them to allow it to even happen, though, right? I don't know. I think that's awesome that the retired players
exactly.
Say, go ahead.
I didn't know too many of them did that in college, but I mean, I know there are, but I didn't. I guess. Hey.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good story. I like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he's adorable. So
look
him up if you don't know him. He's adorable.
Does he have a girlfriend? Do we know?
The only signs of a girlfriend that I have come across was like at a college formal. And it was a very cute white girl. I haven't seen any other signs of her anyway, but for all the white girls out there.
I know on
girls,
the Hard Knocks, there was a girlfriend, and I kind of feel like she might have been mixed, or she wasn't just like blonde and blue-eyed. She definitely looked more like she has a little bit of mix in her. But I don't know if that was during taping, which of course was like in August and July, and if something's changed, I haven't kept up. However, I wouldn't mind secret stalking him to see if that was the case.
Yes. We should all do that.
Okay, so for all of our listeners, is there an Instagram for them to stalk Deshaun Watson and look into his life a little bit more?
Yes, it's simply at Deshaun Watson, DESHAUN.
Oh, I love that. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go, and I'm going to cover Juju Smith-Schuster.
Let's hear it, Fran.
He's at the Steelers. He's a wide receiver. He's the youngest player in the NFL, which I think is super cool.
Oh, really?
He just turned 21 in November. Before that, he left USC a year early and went into the draft. And he's someone that I think is a major character, which is going to be great. Like, I hope his career is really long, because I don't know what's going to happen with this guy, because there's all these just random stories about him that I find fascinating. Okay. So one is that there's this, the top porn star on Pornhub. See, I have to bring it back to porn.
Awesome. Let's talk porn then. Who is this chick we're talking about?
It's Mia Khalifa is her name.
I can only imagine your browser gets...
Should we look at it?
Anyway.
Oh, she's the one that's going to have her own sports show, isn't it?
Is she? Well, she goes after a lot of the athletes, and she tweeted him like, oh, he's my favorite new follow, and is trying to like taunt him and like get his interaction. Yeah. And he tweeted back, "Oh, hell nah. I'm not following this, LOL. I'm young, not stupid." Which I thought was a riot. That really cracked me up.
That's cute.
So, like, maybe, but then he's a little, like, he's known for, he had this Minion backpack that lighted up and talked. And he really is young. 21.
Aww.
And then people were making fun of him and telling him, oh my God. And so So we went back to the Disney store because the Minion backpack had worn out, and got an Elmo backpack.
Aww.
He's funny.
So no Louis Vuitton for him. He's all about Disney backpacks. That's good. Good for him.
Yeah.
I like that he didn't let people mess with him. He went even lower, younger.
And then his real name is John Smith. He was born as John Smith, and his aunt called him John, and then it just changed to Juju, and Juju stuck. And then another cool thing is his stepdad came into his life when he was 4, and he wanted to change his name to hyphenate it Schuster. But his bio dad said no. And so he's and his mom's well, I guess you're going to have to wait till you're 18. Well, he turns 18 and he texts his mom, Mom, it's time to get the process started.
Aww.
What process? She didn't know. She's changing the name, and then he did that. And I think that's just really, really sweet.
That's pretty cute.
I think that's just awesome.
I love Juju. I love Juju for his the new touchdown, his touchdown celebrations. We look at all the touchdowns, and most of them are him. Whenever you see the Steelers, it's usually him in the middle of it doing something crazy.
Yeah, the hide and seek one was my favorite one. They were so cute.
I don't even know. That's funny. But he was just suspended last game. Because he was suspended for one game because he did an illegal block that leveled this guy, and then was above him taunting him
against Burfict, Vontez Burfict, who is a historical for being one himself. Yeah. So it was just kind of weird. Plus, it was also after the incident with Shazier, so it was kind of and unfortunately for what's the other wide receiver's name? I'm drawing a blank, but he was basically in the locker room telling him, "Oh, that's what you get for karma." And I know Juju, I don't think he purposely meant to do that, but I know all those guys in the Steelers were really, really into that game once Shazier had gotten taken off the field for his injuries.
Okay, because I wanted to see it, but then I was afraid I would hate him.
No, it wasn't terrible. I mean, here's the deal. If you looked into so it's Antonio Brown's the other wide receiver, and he has a big mouthpiece on him too. He's the guy on the Trident commercials and all the super bright teeth because his teeth are beautiful. Yeah. So Antonio Brown is their main wide receiver for the Steelers. So when Shazier went down, Vontez Burfict, who's known for all of his illegal hits and kind of shaky play and being kind of illegal himself in those respects, got hit by Juju. It was kind of you can't get mad at him for this hit that bad when it's against a guy who's notorious for these hits, And I don't really think that it was. Yeah, and I don't really think that it was. And even when you saw Juju's face after the play, if you watched the whole game and you saw his face after the initial contact, he could see in his face he was nervous. He knew it wasn't. He didn't see aggression in his face or that's what you get. But it was more oh shit, what happened? What'd I do?
But didn't he hit him and then he stood over and put both hands on his hips there you go,
I think, I feel you do that, but I don't think.
A showboating type of thing.
Yeah, I understand that part of it too, but I feel more so he went over him. I mean, first of all, you hit him, and you think you're okay, and you think both of you are fine, but it's not until after you see someone sitting there waiting, wait a minute, oh, he's not getting up right away. That's when you're kind of nervous. Yes, oh shoot! The initial hit, I hit you, you're on the ground, haha, I got you, but so. I don't think it'll be an everyday type of event for Mr. Juju.
No.
Okay, good. I
like it too much for that.
Yeah, I like it. Because I just think this guy, I don't know, the Steelers are doing so well, and I feel I want him to go into the Super Bowl, and then after he's going to party, and he's going to get into something. I really want to know what it is.
I'm sure he'll get into something, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see.
Well, it's good that he only missed one game because they got a big game this coming weekend, I think, against the Patriots. So that's going to be key for them.
Yep.
Does he have Instagram for anyone that's listening that wants to follow?
It's at Juju.
Oh, okay.
Juju.
Simple enough.
We-
How
we-
he got that one
we
pretty
haven't done
nice.
yet because we have to talk about when his bike got stolen. It's my favorite story about him.
That was a good
Yeah.
story. It was a good one.
He doesn't have his driver's license.
You're kidding.
No. And so he would bike to practice. And one day his bike was gone. And so the cutest part about it is he's like doing a selfie video and he's got his hoodie on. He's like, man, my bike just got stolen. And he's like huffing it, walking, but like huffing it to practice. But he's laughing about the silliness of it. And it's the cutest video ever.
Yeah.
But then it became this viral thing. And it was like, I can't remember, it was hashtag find Juju's bike or hashtag return Juju's bike. But it was viral and everywhere, and it was so much fun. And Antonio Brown posted what?
He said, I'll give 2 tickets to anybody who finds this bike. The sandwich shop down the corners, giving free hoagies. I mean, it was like everybody, the town went to like find the bike, which they did.
Yeah, someone turned it in because they said, no, I don't know if that's true or not, but they said someone had sold it to them and that they saw that it happened to be Juju's bike, so they returned it to the police department or whatever. So then Juju got it back. But then all the critics, are just teasing him about like, dude, you're making all this money. Go get yourself your license to get a car.
He's got his backpack. He's got his bicycle.
And winter is coming.
Yeah, winter in Pittsburgh on a bike is not going to be enjoyable.
He did get his license.
It was the cute. Oh, he did.
Yeah,
he's
he did.
great. He's so cute. But that video was absolutely so charming. That was one of my favorite stories.
Oh, I love it. That was a good, and it was all over like the NBC, CBS, and throughout any football game that you're watching that Sunday, it was like, oh my God, did you hear about Juju's bike? It's been missing, and how did he get to practice, and how he got to the game, and oh my God, that's so funny.
Cute.
Good deal. Are we good with Juju? Is that it for Juju?
Yeah, that's it.
Wonderful. Who do we have next?
Laura, I'm going to be talking about Leonard Fournette, and I know it sounds like I might be a little obsessed with him because we covered him last time.
Maybe just a little bit, Laura, but with no judgment, no judgment zone. I'm obsessed with him. I saw him in person over the weekend, and I myself am obsessed as well, so it's okay.
Right. Besides being just like beautiful to watch on the football field, but he's also just a gorgeous young man. And he is a hot daddy. He's got this darling daughter that was born when he was a freshman in college, actually, and also now a son. And then he's very devoted to. And his daughter actually had her own kind of Instagram presence. He posted lots of pictures. She was sort of famous around town when he was going to LSU. But one of the things that is one of the things that Sports Illustrated just said is that the only reason the Jags offense is keeping their head above water is because of him. Like, he is a real star player. I think he's going to be one of the big stars of the NFL because he has charisma, he's charming, he's got this darling family, and he's also just a really, really good football player.
And he had a slow start this season, but he's really picked up pace, and I mean, all defenses are having a problem, including my own. The Seahawks played him this last weekend, and he had over 100 yards rushing. I mean, he was all over the place. It was just...
He has 8 touchdowns, and he's a rookie. He's just really, I think he's going to be just a really stunning player going forward. And one of my favorite quotes was in his scouting report. I'm going to say, always the hammer and never the nail. He's a violent finisher looking to intimidate run support safeties with crushing blows behind lower pads, runs feet through any and all contact, his balance and power to plow through tackle attempts at an angle, punishing stiff arms go viral. I just thought,
he has great arms.
He has great arms both on and off the field.
Yes.
And then also, he grew up in he's from New Orleans, grew up in the 7th Ward, so he has a very challenged background. And very, very devoted to his community and still trying to help there. And he also has this family motto called BUGA. I think it's pronounced either Bugga or Booga. Is Be United Generates Attitude. I don't actually understand that.
Being united generates attitude.
I just think it's he's already got it figured out how to brand himself. He's already got merchandise. He's 1 year into the NFL, and he's already, I think, is like the whole package. Like a great player, great personality, good to look at, fun family, devoted to his community. So yeah, he's my.
And has been out of trouble for the first year too, so that's good.
Right. He's like 23 or 24, and he's 6 foot 240. He was the number 1 recruit in the country as a senior in high school.
I believe
it. Yeah, I went in the first round draft. Like people have been thinking about him for a long time as like a big deal, and so far he looks like he's showing up for it. So I think that's also pretty awesome because so far he doesn't seem to have a lot of kind of weird like I think having his daughter when he was really young kind of like settled him right into it and being just like serious about his career and.
He's no Ezekiel Elliott, fucking shit up left and right. Excuse me.
No, yeah, none of that.
That's good. That's good.
Does he get in trouble?
Well, he got suspended for not showing up for the team picture. I don't know. It's like that stuff. I don't know. Like one of the things I was reading is his daughter was born 5 weeks premature. I think like a lot of that when it happens to you when you're 20 years old, like he just decided to really step up for it. And anyway, I think he's going to have a lot of personality. I think it'll be interesting to see whether something comes up for him. He's still in his first year. He's making a lot of money, like $27 million. I think that comes with its own temptations.
We'll see how it goes, and we'll see. A lot of these guys, they hit their sophomore season, and stats kind of fall, or they go up. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes into how all these guys will play into their second year.
Right.
That's right.
I think it's kind of sad that he's stuck on the Jaguars. I'd like to see him on a team that gets a little more.
Let me tell you that he is Jacksonville's pride and joy. The people out there are, man, that's the one thing they're holding on to is their Leonard Fournette. So if it wasn't for their defense and him, they definitely wouldn't have much.
Right, which is a lot for a rookie. A lot.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. Wonderful. Does Leonard Fournette have an Instagram or a Twitter handle for us?
Yes, he does. It's Leonard Fournette.
Oh, okay, perfect. That was easy enough.
It's just his name. And he's a really good guy to look at. He has a great beard. He's just like, I just troll his.
He has a great beard. And unlike people like James Harden, which I like to say is like the catfish of bearding, you should always get a before and after picture of anybody in a beard that you have interest in because you never know what's hiding behind that beard.
Right.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, everybody Google James Harden before and after beard and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, I detect the presence of a strong jaw underneath that beard. I'm just saying.
I love it. Okay, last but not least.
This is Elisa. I'm going to talk about Chris Wormley. This guy, I went down a rabbit hole with his and his fiance's Instagram feeds. He can be found at bigworm_43.
So literally a wormhole.
Literally, yeah. And so he just got engaged in July. His fiance Alexis Victoria, and that would be 3 R's and 3 I's in Alexis Victoria.
Okay.
And they.
Was she 15?
No,
there might have been like 1,000 Alexis Victorias out there,
They're 24. These kids have been high school sweethearts together since 2009. And love is in the air for the Ravens. There were 5 of them that got engaged or married. Lamar Lewis, Brendan Meyer, Matt Skura. They all got, anyway. And also Brandon Williams. I think during Williams' wedding weekend, Wormley proposed to his sweetheart. And I think I put it on our Instagram feed. He was a 3rd-round draft pick.
For Michigan, right? I think he was in Michigan.
Played in Michigan, had a great career. I think he was at Big Ten. He had quite an illustrious career, and he started in a couple games this year. I think he's had about 5 tackles.
Okay.
And the two of them are so in love with each other, and they're they're like. They do. They look like they're still in high school.
They're like oozing love.
They're very much in love. He's always like women crushing, and she has a design career and so they've been kind of long distance because she's been in Los Angeles pursuing her education. Yeah.
By looking at his Instagram feed, I mean, I don't know about this big worm thing. He must be a grower, not a show.
Oh, to our listeners, please stay tuned for our next episode. We'll be talking about big worms. So.
I don't know. That is fun. Okay, so the other thing, he's pretty humble. He's got his
And I know why.
You know what? And I don't see any. He has had a body transformation, and he posts about it.
Really?
But I think in 2014 there's some like workout that Wellman work. I don't know, but he shows himself, but I don't think he's posing in boxers or anything. So there really wouldn't be a way to tell, Fran. But
I promise you, I'll show you.
there's a super cute. So they're pretty humble. They're cute. He has one post of he and his fiance at South Cliffs Plaza at the Dior store. When you get invited to a private event at Dior, but you can't afford anything, so you just take pictures by the sign. They're very cute. They're like, they seem pretty. And also, I think the Ravens are always kind of like, they're always a threat. Possibly they could. They're doing anything fantastic, but
Definitely
the truth
not.
is, their defense needs help, and I think he has potential. And he's, for where he came in the draft, he's shown that he's. He's
and the other thing with the Ravens, though, you mentioned all the love that's taken place over this last maybe year or season or so. It's really good because the Ravens are notorious for having all the crap happen during the season. You've got, murder charges, dragging your girlfriend out of an elevator. I mean, all these kind of things happen within the Ravens organization. I'm sure they're like throwing out balloons and paying for weddings, the head office there, just to keep the love in the air.
Well, and also going to all these weddings and honeymoons and parties and stuff, probably, like, he signed in April, and then all of these weddings and engagements happened in July. It's a bonding thing. Like, this could be, 3 years from now, that love, they're going to be having probably a lot of babies coming up, maybe, but, maybe we'll see more a family-oriented Ravens team that's ready to, like, temper their.
I'm not holding my breath.
Or if nothing else, there'll be more worms for us to figure out if they're big enough. I mean, I have no problem trying to figure that out, but,
And his arms are pretty good. He's 6'5". I think he's 300 pounds.
If he's 6'5", then what I saw is very disappointing.
Wait a minute, what did you see? I need those pictures. Where are those pictures at?
You call yourself Big Worm, and you
can't.
And he's in bright yellow
You've
too.
got to do better than that. Like, unless it's a proportional thing. Because I know when you're, I don't know.
Not all tall guys are generous downstairs.
No.
Maybe he has to wrap it around places.
I don't. No, you would be not that.
You think he's a tucket?
Oh my God, a tucket.
No, I'm sorry.
I mean, a lot of these guys have those like under.
He may have other Well, he
presumably.
Well, they have those like boxer briefs now that are strictly for when you're like active, like in running and sports, and so maybe you just can't see. It's not like you're wearing gray sweatpants with nothing underneath.
Okay, I promise. Look at his Instagram. Look at him in his yellow pants.
Fran is not impressed.
I'm sorry. Sometimes it just.
So this is the transformation picture. I don't know if you can see this, Melissa, but that says transformation.
Oh.
But you can't really. Yeah, he's not wearing anything that allows you to see.
No, and that's okay.
The Wellman workout is what he attributes his change in body size too.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, Fran can keep Juju and you can keep Chris. So, that's all. Oh, ladies, this has been good. We really definitely have to definitely pick this up where we left off for next time we meet in a couple weeks. We wish to have all of our listeners have a wonderful holiday season with whatever holiday you do celebrate. Please enjoy it. Enjoy family, enjoy friends. I wish all of you to have a happy holidays as well. We'll return after Christmas for a brief podcast. So we'll return with you guys, the ladies of Football BFF. So make sure to check out their app. You can find it on the iTunes App Store at the Football BFF. Ladies, it's on Facebook and Instagram too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Twitter.
And Twitter, yes. So make sure you follow and check out the ladies of Football BFF. Again, if you're just at home watching the game with your significant other and you want to, know who number 91 is on the defense, or you want to know who number 55 is and see their face underneath the helmet, maybe see who they're dating or see the other details behind or off the field, definitely check out the Football BFF app on the iTunes store. Ladies, it has been a pleasure, and we will definitely chat with you again in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to Girl Chat Sports After Dark with the ladies of Football BFF, bringing you all the hot, juicy gossip off the field.